Welcome, everybody, to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards. I am your host, the journalist Sincere, and that's my partner, Uncle E. And tonight we have the pleasure of speaking with Staten Island's own Jamil Honesty. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Peace. What's good, man? It's my pleasure. It's
Peace,
pleasure's all
peace.
mine, man. Word
No
up.
doubt. And we will be joined momentarily by Squeegie Oblong. But kick us back to where you were born and raised.
So yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York. Um, okay, where we at? Where we at? Hold on one second. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York, man. Manus Harbor Projects, West Brighton, two rival neighborhoods or whatever. Being in New York, it's like it's the inevitable, especially in the 80s and 90s, for you to be around hip hop, you know, um, hear it, smell it, taste it, you know what I mean? Like see it, it's all around you. So when I was coming up, I was always a lover of music. My mother had the 45s and, Stevie Wonder, all that kind of stuff. So I was into that. But then, outside was even though I was listening to the soul music in the crib, outside, was Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, all that kind of stuff. And then coming into the 90s, that's when I kind of started getting into it. Um, one of the records that was like for me that made me want to get into it myself was Scenario, Tribe Called Quest featuring Busta Rhymes and LONS and all that.
So we're talking
That
91, 92.
yeah, so that's when I really was like, yeah, I could do this myself. That record and Smooth Operator. I know Smooth Operator by Big Daddy Kane came out 89, 90. But those two records, I would listen to them over and over again, write it out, so I could learn the song and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, yo, I'm gonna just start trying to, write my own stuff. So yeah,
Right.
so 91, 92 is when I kind of started doing my rap and rapping and writing and all that kind of stuff. Then of course, me being from Staten Island, I moved away from Staten Island, moved to Baltimore in my teenage years, and Wu came out. So when Wu came out, being that they was from Staten Island, instantly they became something, a reference point for me. And so I was like, son, if they could come out and make such an impact, being from where we from, I was like, yo, I could definitely do it. So I've been, it's been tunnel vision ever since.
Very dope. What was your creative process earlier on?
Oh man, I was honestly, man, I was a sponge. I was a sponge. I was just like in my earlier days, like I was just listening, studying albums. Um, back then, you would, the tissue and the tape and taping radio shows and all that kind of stuff, freestyles, different mix shows and stuff like that. And I would, if it made sense to me, if I liked what I heard, then I was studying it. You know what I'm saying? And then I would apply that to what I was trying to create. Like for instance, something like when I first kind of started out, I was listening to like Black Moon real heavy. Like I was really like, man, I was going crazy over Buckshot's like flow and stuff like that. So I would incorporate that into what I was trying to create. You know what I'm saying? And I would do that. I would do that a lot until I kind of found my own footing and my own style, and and it developed into what you hear today.
Hmm. So you said you had moved out to Baltimore. Did you did you find your way back in Staten Island at some point?
A lot. Yeah, my grandmother stayed my mother and I moved out of Staten Island. You know, my grandmother was there, so I would always go up in the summertime. Sometimes I would go to school there for a year. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
Okay.
always back and forth. You know, I'm getting the Stretch and Bobbito tapes, and just hearing what I was
Yeah.
hearing and taking it back. Baltimore, of course, had its own scene. Surprisingly, when I came down, it was like, yo, wow, these dudes is nice, and they getting down and they doing what they doing here. You got Morgan State 88.9. Playing that raw hip hop and all that kind of stuff. So, but just going back to the soil though, listening to, what I was listening to, and just back then in the '90s, man, New York was different.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
totally
saying?
different.
Yeah, it's a whole you got the graffiti, you got the dudes on the corner. You know what I'm saying? It just was, the music. It just was different back then, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was just soaking it all in. So like, it's crazy now when I'm creating these projects. A lot of the stuff that I was studying back then is starting to come back up. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So like when people tell me certain things like, yo, not to toot my own horn, but like when they say, oh, yo, what you're doing is like, it's different. It's a breath of fresh air. And I'm like, yo, I'm not doing anything different. Like the people that know, they really know. Like this is you just from you from a time that was acceptable, and that was what we did. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm doing is just bringing it to the forefront and putting it out in my own perspective. You know what I'm saying? In 2022.
Right.
Got you. Yeah, real quick, man, if you don't mind, can you describe? I've always found this interesting about Staten Island, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've heard how they say it's kind of like the forgotten borough. Sometimes they say it's not included. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's all kind of. Can you describe for those who may or maybe have never been to Staten Island? So you're from like a different part of where Stapleton projects, right? And like what you constantly hear the Wu always talking about.
Right.
Are you like on a total different side of that?
Yeah, so I can't give you like South Shore, the North Shore, that Squeegie could do all of that. But what I tell you is, they're on one side of the island, and then we're on the other side. So like I think like Park Hill and Stapleton, they're really they're right around the corner from each other, right? So the area that myself and Squeegie is from is kind of like on the other side. Not it's like you get on Richmond Terrace, keep going down past the ferry, past New Brighton, past West Brighton. I want to say it's probably about maybe about 5-10 miles from Park Hill, Stapleton. Now it's a notorious neighborhood, and anybody from Staten Island will tell you that Manus Harbor Projects, even back then in the 80s, was always a rough area, so rough that they call it the jungle. They call it Jungle Nails.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've actually heard that.
Yeah, so it's like it's a notorious neighborhood. You had to have that tough skin. You know what I mean? You wasn't coming out of there without a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not coming out of there without a fight. The mosquitoes is big as hell. You know what I'm saying? I think that's anywhere in the island, man. The island, Staten Island used to be a swamp. So, like, you know what I'm saying? The mosquitoes are like human size. For real. We used to have to burn the trash cans to keep the mosquitoes off us, man. But so like with Staten Island, it's dipped off. Like when they talk about the Forgotten Island, it's literal and figuratively. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta like everywhere else. The other boroughs, you could take a train,
Right,
and
right,
get
right,
there.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's pretty attached. But to get to Staten Island, you got to either hop on a bridge or hop on a ferry.
On the ferry, yeah.
Yeah. So it's dipped off. But then when a lot of times when you think of Staten Island, you think of the suburbs, right? You know, say you got the mobsters, they do their dirt in the barrows, and then they come out and hide out in Staten Island. They got the
Right,
nice
right.
cribs and all that. So yeah, you have that part, but then you have the parts like Stapleton, Park Hill, Manus Harbor, New Brighton, West Brighton, Arlington. These areas are notorious for crime, drugs, murder, all of that. And see, the thing is that with Staten Island, it's always been crazy. You know, like Wu-Tang, when Wu came out, even though they was from Park Hill and Stapleton, and you know, it's crazy because like I grew up in both areas, like Manus Harbor and West Brighton, right? And we would always be like, yo, them dudes over there, Park Hill, man, that's a, you know what I'm saying? Like we would always say that's like the worst neighborhood, but then we was in a hellhole too, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it was like when they came out though, it was like what they was talking about, we could relate because you know the island is so small, it's small, and we pretty much spoke the same language in a sense, you know what I'm saying? So like when they came out, like for instance, the soup, right? So when you hear soup, when you hear that, you automatically think about Wu-Tang, right?
Right.
Listen, I was hearing that in 86, 87 in my projects. That was a cop call. You know what I'm saying? When the cops come around, you're saying soup, or you trying to get somebody, or you trying to get somebody's attention. You might be downstairs in the projects, you know, outside, right? So you trying to get somebody to come to the window. You say soup, and they come to the window. You know what I'm saying? So little stuff like that was like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, you know.
So they really
spoke the
incorporated,
language.
right?
Yeah,
they spoke the language. They incorporated every single little thing that was popular.
Right.
You know, obviously the kung fu flicks, but they took, like you said, the language and everything.
Yeah,
and made it very relatable. Got you.
Right. But so, see, the thing is, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish.
What I was gonna say is, you know, and rightfully so. I mean, these cats, keep in mind, you know, a lot of these neighborhoods were rival neighborhoods. So when you think about a lot of people, when they think about the Wu, of course, Wu was gonna represent where they from, Staten Island, but you know, the particulars is what we from Stapleton, Park Hill, right? So you think that's all you think about is those neighborhoods, but there were other neighborhoods. Like I said, New Brighton, which is right. New Brighton is right across the street from like the ferry. When you come off the ferry, the projects is like damn near right across the street. You know, that's a wild neighborhood. West Brighton, you know, they call that Body Brighton, wild neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Manus Harbor, Arlington. You know that's Jungle Nails. It's crazy. And they, you know, they call Arlington A-Town. So yeah, so you know, I feel like with the Harbor Kids, we kind of telling our story and what we saw, you know, on the island. You know what I mean? While still paying homage, of course, to our forerunners, which is the Wu. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you know, they might forever going to be my heroes, man. You know what I'm saying? They like the Avengers or whatever. But you know, yeah, we, you know, that's why we call it, you know, the Harbor Kids, man, because that's where we from. We just represent where we from.
Before we get a little bit more into your music, one last question. You know, as far as Staten Island, do you find it that it's difficult for other artists outside of the Wu-Tang to get the shine that they deserve coming out of Staten Island because of how big the spotlight is on the Wu?
Yeah. Because you know you gotta like, I mean, Wu had such an impact, and they kind of locked everything down. You know, you gotta understand, like it was kind of like unmarked territory pretty much. I mean, we had the Force MDs. Shout out to the UMCs, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it was like unmarked territory, you know what I'm saying? So it's like once the Wu came out, the W was so big that I'm just guessing that like people that on the outside looking in, and you know, like your executives and all that kind of stuff, was probably like, look, if you ain't coming with the W, then we really don't want to hear about your movement and this, that, and the third. And that's just me guessing because keep in mind when they came out, I wasn't on the island. I was already in Baltimore, but I would come back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's kind of like the stories I'm hearing.
Right.
Earlier on, how were you getting your name out there as far as paying your dues? Were you doing demos? How was you getting your name out there? Ciphers, parties, earlier on?
So early on, like, okay, so when I started rhyming and stuff like that, and you know, kind of honing my craft, you know, I was already in Baltimore, so I was doing a lot of stuff here. You know, we would go down to the you know, high school, or we would go to the Inner Harbor. You know, there was ciphers down there. We would cipher. Just you know, battling. You know what I mean? And you know, just doing little shows down here. We had a spot called the Wind Up Space. I would frequent a lot. My man Ill Conscious would frequent a lot. J Royale, Dirt Platoon. So different you know, different areas, different little venues down here. That's kind of like where I started.
Very dope. Yeah. Did production and rhyming go hand in hand at the same time, or was production a little later?
Production came a little later.
Okay.
Production came in like in 06, 05, 06. I started doing you know, the production piece. What kind of inspired me to do that? I got to give it to Kanye. Like when Kanye dropped his album, it was impactful, man, because that was like he was like what the first of his kind. You know what I mean? You had producers that rhyme that would put out albums, right? And some of them would be dope. Some of them, you know, a lot of them wasn't really that successful. But Kanye like did it on such a level, you know what I'm saying, that it kind of moved me like, yo, son, I want to do something like that. You know what I mean? So I started getting into it. And the crazy thing about it was I would come to the studio a lot of times and pretty much like help you know, the producer make the beat, like not necessarily like hitting the pads and nothing like that, but I would bring samples, tell them how I want it flipped and all that. And they was like, yo, you guys will start making your own beats. So I got my man, he showed me how to work this program called Reason. Yeah. And I've been using that ever since 2006.
Oh. What was it? Did you find it sort of difficult as on the production side of things to get your beats, you know, to artists or shop it around? How was that process?
Okay, so I started in 2006. Who did I think I sold my first beat in 2008. I got my first placement in 2010. Shout out to Do It or Do Kelly from the Lords of the Underground.
Man, he had shout out. I don't mean to cut you off, but shout out to him. I saw he just they just nominated him, right, for council.
Yep, for the council. Right. Yeah. Shout out to him. Yeah, really good brother, man. So he put me on his mixtape that he put out around that time, and I had produced a song on that, and so that was my first big placement. Then shout out to Cheddar Bang from Staten Island. I had a record with him. It's featuring Styles P and Chinks Drugs. That was in 2011. Yeah. Called Get Gone. Yeah, rest in peace. Yeah, so you know, that's kind of like how I started, and then just, you know, locally working with brothers, man. my band Seneca the Misfit. I was part of, him and I were part of, but he's gone, God bless the dead. You know what I'm saying? We were both part of a group that I'm still part of called Animal Gang. So, I did production for that, for him, and just different folks locally and stuff like that. And, and then, recently just produced the whole project for Sean Links, Bolo Young. Did y'all get a chance to check that out?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Classic material there. Yep. Shout out to him. But yeah, so we did that. We dropped that this year, and and then we got Harbor Kids. I got some production on there. I did like 2 joints on there, but for the most part, I'm spitting on there. But yeah, now it comes hand in hand, But I would say that I'm a MC first, and but I like to be behind the boards, man. I like to produce, and just to see the response from that project that I produced fully, it kind of, inspired me to do more and want to work with more artists and eventually, do my own joint. So that's coming up too.
2017, was that your first official project, Conversations?
Okay, so you did some homework. Yeah. So Conversations was it's kind of like a mixtape. And the crazy thing about it is, I would say that that's kind of where I started to get, I guess, somewhat of a buzz, because I had sent that to DJ Eclipse, and not thinking nothing of it. I just sent it. I was like, yo, you know what? I'm gonna just send it. If he plays it, he plays it. He don't, he don't. So I just, I sent it, and a couple months, not months, but a couple weeks went by, and my man called me up. Was like, yo, you was on XM Radio, Shady 45. I was like, what? Yeah. So he started playing my joint, but that's not my first project. My first official project is part of my French, and that's produced by Cool FD. That came out in 2014.
Oh,
so full length project, yeah. So that came out in 2014. Conversations followed that. A lot of people. It's crazy that you mentioned that, because a lot of people think that my first album was Modern Music.
And that followed in 2019, correct?
2018.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I know why you said that, because I didn't upload it to the DSPs until 2019, but I put it out on Bandcamp in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
With those earlier projects, what kind of buzz is going on? I mean, what kind of artists, reviews? What are you hearing with your first few projects?
First few projects, not hearing too much.
Peace.
Yo, yeah, that's when it started kind of bubbling from that point, and then that's when you start getting the reviews, and that really started coming like in 2018, 2019 with Modern Music.
Gotcha. My man Squeegie popped in at the right time. As we're talking about your discography, you also came out with the Rufus Project, the Proving Grounds. At what point did you two link up?
Shit. I mean,
okay.
You gonna answer that? You got it.
I mean,
you got it.
Yeah. So I mean, musically, within the last maybe couple years, maybe 2017. But I mean, I knew this dude since he was a baby. Like, we was kids. Like, we grew up in the same building in the project. So yeah, I knew him. We when I moved away, like, we lost touch, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we knew each other for a long time. Yeah.
God bless Facebook. I'll say that much. When that shit was like popping, that's how we got the rekindling of the friendship and shit.
Yep.
No doubt.
Okay. So Squeegie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How tell us about your early times. How'd you get into hip hop? What was your first influence?
I Project Baby to the Grain. I would say the Punishment days, because I was always on Punishment. I mean, my parents are diverse when it comes to music. You know what I'm saying? My father be playing all different types of shit. My mother would be on her R&B wave, but Punishment is how I got into hip hop on some real shit.
That's the first time I've heard that one, man. That's
because you think, like, I would say around the age of like 8, 9 years old, like, you hear the music, but you don't really think about it. When you 10 and 11, and they like, yo, sit in the room for the week, and all you got is the radio. Yo, Hot 97's your best friend.
Right.
I caught wave of a lot of shit through Hot 97, man.
Oh shit, man. That's a good one.
Word. I used to do my little rhyming thing about, like, I say about 12, 13. I ain't really start taking it serious to about, like, I say 2006, 2007. You know what I'm saying? Okay. When I was really getting familiar with going to the studio, really putting together songs and formats and shit. And then, I just been on the runaway train since then. On some real shit.
Was there any one particular artist, or was there several artists that really, gave you that bug of wanting to be an MC?
I mean, besides, the whole Wu-Tang thing, because, Staten Island and all that other shit.
Right.
I was always a fan of Mobb Deep shit. Fucking, I would say like early M, because I got on the M in like 99. I was just really getting my pen good in 99. So shit like that, fucking, of course, Mos Def and Kweli with the Reflection Eternal and all that other shit. It's just all being well-rounded as far as the music, because I could go from West Coast shit, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, and all that other shit. Then I go with the Common Wave, whatever, as long as it was all about the bars and the artistry.
Gotcha.
What would you say your creative process is when you write?
Shit, I just gotta be in the mood.
Do you have to have a beat? Do you have to have a beat first, or are you writing?
Yeah, I gotta have I need the canvas in order to really put the art in order.
Yeah.
That's just all I go. Just let me step off 1 minute. My other half is calling me. This dude just fell asleep.
No doubt.
That's crazy. Because you had asked me that earlier. It changed. My creative process changed over the years, right? Mm-hmm. So back when I was younger, I would just write, and for some reasons, somehow I always had a style like that was kind of in the pocket. So whatever I would write, I could kind of like be a chameleon on beats and make it fit, right? Especially during those times, like, the beats were a certain BPM and all that kind of stuff. But now, I get more inspiration from what the beat says to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so now I write when I have a beat as opposed to just writing. Right. So I don't know if that it's pros and pros and cons with that, but that's how I create now.
Right.
But you mentioned Rufus Buck. You mentioned Rufus Buck earlier.
Yes.
What were you saying about that?
I was just trying to go through your discography. Of the projects that you came out with. If you want to touch on that a little bit, what was that project all about?
Man, just the obvious, man. When you from the time you turn it on to the time that it goes off, it speaks volumes about what's going on in the Black and brown community. You know what I'm saying? At that time, we're talking 2020, when the pandemic hit and everything that was going on, and during and in between that time, it just was like, yo, I was frustrated, and that's what that's pretty much what the album is about, man. Just kind of fed up with what was going on, with George Floyd and everyone else that had to suffer, under our wicked, system. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all that's talking about, man. We can just fed up. I call it riot music.
No doubt.
That's it. Yeah.
Where did you find yourself in 2020? Did you find yourself creating, or just kind of finding yourself in a place of what's next?
Oh man, I mean, so you think 2020, right? I dropped. First off, I recorded at home, so I was doing hella features during 2020. I was also, um, just creating and finishing projects. So in 2020, I dropped Modern Music 2. I dropped This Is War with DJ Grasshopper with a fix. I dropped that, and then at the end, fourth quarter of 2020, I had dropped the first edition of Rufus Buck. So the first edition, the first release, it was only like 5 joints.
Just the EP and then the
Yeah, it was an
deluxe
EP.
version. Okay.
Yeah, then I dropped the deluxe version that following year. I think that summer 2021.
Gotcha.
I tried. I made it a full length project. Yeah, so yeah, I was pretty busy in 2020, man. 2020 was a good year for me, man, in terms of music, not necessarily
Right.
everything else that was going around surrounding that. You know what I mean? But with the COVID, I lost a lot of family members, probably just like yourselves, friends, and then Baltimore is its own beast. You know what I'm saying? So you got people getting shot and killed and stabbed and all that kind of stuff out here. So
Right. It's 2022, and you guys just dropped the Harbor Kids. Take us back to the early discussions of creating this project, coming up with the title and the concept of this.
you can take that, Squeege.
All right, so I say about March, what was it, 2018, 2019. I was talking to, I believe, Southern Vanguard. Conversation was, just pretty much, you guys got good chemistry. Y'all work good together. Is there going to be a Harbor Kids project? So at the time, I'm like, shit, well, as long as he's down, I'm down. I mean, it ain't no big deal. It ain't like something that we can't put together. Mm-hmm. I threw it to him. He was like, yo, fuck it. Let's get it started. And what? About like 2 years? It took about like 2 years. It was well worth the 2 years, but
yeah. It took a
that's 2 years to get it going, 2 years working on it.
Nah, 2 years working on it.
2 years working on it?
Yeah, a lot of that was my fault.
I said 2019. I meant to say 2020. My bad. That's when we had the interview. 2020.
Okay.
So forth. So yeah, since 2020 up until now, we've been working on this shit, and it was well worth the time spent. Because Jamil's very creative on his side when he think about shit, and then on the production tip, he also know how to slash shit in. And then I guess the balance out between, because his shit is just like, he's more of the technical gem dropping type. I'm gonna talk my shit. I mean, I be just straight off wilding out type shit. So it just meshed together perfectly. Because it's like, you're gonna get the lyrical swordsman gem shit from this dude, and then you just go get the firecracker shit from over on this way. So it's like it'll blend like fucking Reese's.
Perfect mess. It's a perfect mess, bro. Yeah. Word. Somebody told me it was like it's almost like Jizza and ODB made an album together.
Yo, I was gonna say Raekwon and ODB, but I was like, I don't know, maybe enough with the Wu right now.
I mean, word. Definitely the comparisons is there out this motherfucker, man. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's our reference point, man. That's at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? These guys, they were the first to really put the Allen on their back and and take it to where they took it. You know what I mean? Other people did too, but
Bird.
I mean, come on, you think Force MDs, UMCs,
of course, UMCs and shit.
Yeah.
Silent Soldiers and all that, King Just. So
word up. But it's like with the Wu, man. They took it to a whole nother level. We talking
Hip-hop
about
Beatles
a
shit.
whole era. You feel what I'm saying? 5 years, they just bang,
Facts.
bang, bang, bang. You know, and
Consistently.
during this time, I'm in high school. So I'm sitting here like, yo, these dudes is from Staten Island and they doing this. You know, it's just, yeah, forever being better than my head, man. Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, before we continue with did you guys watch the Wu
Of course.
the saga?
The show
Yeah.
or the Mice and Men documentary? I watched both though.
Yeah,
Well,
I watched both too.
Both, yeah, both of them were dope. But the show on Hulu,
Yeah.
just since you guys are from out there, you know, how did you guys like? Was it
Accurate.
Did it right? Was it accurate? I mean, we know a lot of things were exaggerated because it's a show.
Yeah.
But did it bring back like, oh damn, I remember how that used to be like that? Like how was the show for you guys?
I mean, shit, as far as from a fan standpoint, you know, to actually see the come up and how all that shit came apart, and then you see, you know, where the ideas all came from and how all that shit came together. I think that was like the illest part about it, whether exaggerated or not. It's just they gave you that glimpse of before the music, this is what niggas was doing. And, you know, if you smart or if you from around, you've heard the stories, you know, you put two and two together type shit.
Right. But I would say this, like, you know, because like again, when I told you when they blew up, I was already in Baltimore, right? But I'll tell you this, like certain parts of the movie when they would like, you know, bring out certain things, like certain time points, I was like, yo, you know, I was there, like you know, I'm like, oh snap, yeah, I remember that, you know. So I enjoyed it, man. You know, of course, you know, it probably wasn't to the T. You know what I'm saying? But
well,
for the most part,
it told the story of what, you know, they was trying to do, how the legacy started.
Yeah, they gave us the gist, man. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a producer, but I think one of my favorite scenes in the whole show was that part when the RZA was trying to figure out and put the beat in, and he would play something and the band would appear, and he's like,
oh, that
fading everything out.
That was
a dope part.
That to me was like one of the best parts in the whole show, man.
Man, you got to understand, like, he changed. I want to say he changed the whole trajectory of how you make beats.
Or he put a whole different spin on it.
Yeah, that whole off kilter, off beat, you know, not taking off the quantize and all that. That's him.
Go down shit, hell yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? With the soul music and all that. Yeah, that's RZA, man. So it's like when I saw that was like, wow, this is crazy. You know, because that's heavily influenced by RZA especially when it comes to my production. You know, because I mean a lot. I don't use quantize, man, and that's because you know I studied him. You know, guys like him, Dilla. You know, so a lot of Pete Rock. Yeah, but definitely RZA, man. Yeah, that was impactful. That whole scene right there was crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
truly how beat gets made type shit.
That shit is crazy.
Back to the Harbor Kids project. What was the creative process? Did you guys ever work together in the studio, or are you guys passing beats back and forth, rhymes, email? How was that whole creative process?
Gmail.
Yeah, that's pretty much Gmail was our best friend putting this shit together. I mean, besides the fact we kept in contact with each other anyway, you know. What stick, what didn't stick, you know, well, that sound dope, but this could overpower that type shit.
Yeah.
As long as we kept the communication going, you know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Right.
It's usually whoever wrote first, or whoever wrote the fastest, gave the idea of the record, and then from there, you know, the hook formulate, all that other shit come into play. Yeah, and features was like the last thing on the mind. You know, that came like towards the tail end.
Yeah. But you know, we wanted to make sure that we did our thing on this. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we were able to tell our story. I mean, you know, the features definitely were phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? But we wanted to make sure that we told our story our way, and we did it our way, man. So it's like. It was a blessing that you know the brothers came through and they follow through with it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the features ain't miss a beat at all.
Nah, not at all. Everybody put their feet in there.
They put
I mean, even with the production, like the production was just truly solid. Everybody that said they shit and just sitting down, skipping through shit and picking that's the vibe right there. That
right. And see, you know what? I'm gonna tell you that was more. I want to say that was more Squeege, man, because like a lot of my projects, most of my projects, if not all of them, are produced by one producer. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, when me and him came together, it was like he had a batch, I had a batch, and we kind of just threw it all in the pot. It was like, yo, what you got? You fuck with this? There you go. Yeah. And that's how it came together, bro. Exactly. Yeah. That's how it came together. Like,
can you speak a little bit on the features?
Yeah, no doubt.
Who was featured on the project?
Who was the first one who was the first person we even got on the record first? Oh, goodness. How about we just go do it like that? Like, who was the first? You just run through the story like that.
Nate Almighty.
I caught that at the towards the end of putting the album together. I'll just be searching through YouTube. I get caught in the rabbit hole, and at the moment in time, I was trying to find something, that either describes Staten Island or describe Menace Harbor. You'll find something on YouTube with at least somebody from the neighborhood talking some wild shit. But what wound up happening was he's already got a platform. He's famous for telling Rikers Island stories. So I happened to catch that clip. And when he first said all that shit, I was like, ooh, that shit sticks. That shit sounds strong. I mean, the whole premise behind the shit was, he know niggas from Staten Island when he was in Rikers, and he didn't meet nobody that was on some soft shit. Everybody was trying to stand their ground. So what I wanted to do with the spice was, look, let me get these parts of the Staten Island shit, cut that, put that together, and then boom. And then I reached out to fam, let him know, we was going to use it. He's like, yo, that's cool. Just make sure you give me my props. So yes, shout out Nate Almighty. Go check him out.
Yeah, shout out to Nate Almighty.
Please go check that brother out. Check his stories out because he's always talking some real shit. You know what I'm saying?
He killed that too, man. He killed that. Most definitely.
What about Sick in the Head?
That was his idea because I love Sick, and he was like, "Yo, we need to reach out to him and throw him on some shit."
He's dope, man. He's from out of New Brighton, man. Remember I was telling you about the neighborhood?
Right.
Yeah, that's right across from the ferry. Okay. Yeah, he's a dope individual, man.
He's one of Cool Kid's early proteges and shit.
Okay.
He's been running around trying to get his shit off and really being successful with his music at the same time for a nice little minute,
Got you.
It's only right we get somebody right.
Right. What about Substance? What is it, 810?
Yeah, Substance 810. Yeah, he's from out of Michigan, man. Yeah. I collaborate with him a lot, man. He's very talented brother, lyrically and production wise, man. So we threw him on that transport joint. I let him hear. It's funny because I let him hear the record on a live, and I was like, "Yo, I want you on this joint." And
they said, "Stay less, just send that shit."
Yep, he said, "Just send it." It was easy, man, to get people. It was crazy. It was easy to get people on, man. Once they knew what was going on, it was like, "Yo,
we with it." It sounded like the right thing to do.
Right. Like Supreme Cerebral, he hit us up on Twitter. He hit us up on Twitter like, "Yo, let me get." He was like, "Yo, I want in."
Yo, he's an honorary Harbor kid from the West Coast.
Word up.
He's from the West Coast.
Yeah,
he's a West Coast Harbor kid.
originally from New York, but he from out of he grew up in that west side.
I was gonna say, man, a name like that, man, he must really is he like the Jizza, like along those type of lines?
He a woo baby, yo. Let's just say that.
Indeed.
Yeah, he's definitely a woo baby, man. Yeah, this dude is crazy. His pen is crazy.
Word.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up with the last one? Doza the drum dealer. First of all, what's up with that name?
Yo, you know what? I don't know. I don't care. But Subway Series is one of my favorite joints on the album, bro.
Yeah.
It just got a vibe. And when he sent me, so he produced it, and he's the first one rhyming on it. I feel like his verse is it has so much charisma in it. It's
I like that one.
Oh, yeah, he sparks that off. He sparks that shit. Like, I feel like that reminds me of like the big park parties and you know what I'm saying? Just old New York, man.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? In the park with seeing the DJs playing the music, everybody outside just having fun. Summertime, you know what I'm saying? The fire, what you call it? The fire hydrant, you know what I'm saying? Spraying water and all that. You know what I mean? Like that's what it
true hip hop feeling.
It took me back. It took me back, yo. It took me back, man, for real. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. I love that record. I love that
shit hit. The first thing I thought of was Off the Books.
Yep.
That's the Big Pun shit.
Yeah.
Like it definitely got that vibe, that city type vibe to that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And look, funny, he Puerto Rican. Shout out to my Puerto Rican brothers and sisters.
Nice.
That project is out now. What kind of early feedback buzz have you guys been receiving so far?
Album of the year, classic.
Yeah. Can you tell the people where they can pick this project up at?
Yes, sir. It's available on all DSPs, man. If you got iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, all the DSPs, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? We did have, I think we sold out on the CDs, but we got cassettes left. Nice. I think we got like maybe 17 cassettes left on barsoverbs.com. Bars, I think that's what it's. Yeah, it's barsoverbs.com. Go there and get your cassettes, man. And we working on vinyl, man. We working on some vinyl.
Shout out to you guys for keeping the physical copy still alive.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's no doubt, brother.
Fuck Spectrum. That's it.
Yeah, we got we got you.
That's cool.
But listen, I mean, the fan base that we have, man, that's what they want. They want the physical. Yeah. They want the CDs. Right. They want the cassettes. Right. They want the vinyl. So right now we shout out to Fat Beats. We went through them for nice. Distribution on a digital end. So we eventually we're gonna have that vinyl. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have a few surprises on that album that we drop on vinyl as well. So we'll have a couple bonus tracks we're gonna throw at you.
No doubt. Nice. Before we get out of here, I want to see what you guys got going on individually. But before we do that, what's next for the Harbor Kids?
I don't know what this guy got going on. He's James Brown, so
there's
a million things going on.
Nah, man.
Right now, I'm in the mix of working a little 7-piece for Exquisite Dope. Shout out my man Davino. And then after that, I'm trying to make sure me and Jamil get in and get this work going, and put some shit together. And whatever the universe takes me, that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, no
Very
doubt.
Dope.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, we definitely try to do a follow up here. We just gonna continue collaborating. But yeah, Harbor Kids, look out for another album because we definitely gonna do one. You know what I'm saying? So that's coming in the future. Black House Records is a label that I started last year. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we so we got the Harbor Kids right now. We pushing that, Black House / Fat Beats. We pushing that joint. We got a plethora of other projects coming. Shout out to my man 88 Bless.
Yeah, shout out 88 Bless.
Yeah, he's working on. He's actually on the project. He's
he did crazy.
He's got the crazy featuring my man DJ Grasshopper.
Grasshopper,
yeah. So he's working on his album right now. That's going to be released under Black House Records. My man Stacks. You got Pure. Shout out to Pure.
Shout out Pure.
Yeah, Pure brother. It's a lot. It's a lot, man. I'm of course I'm working on the third installment of last installment of Martyr Music 3. So that's coming up. I got the God's Honest Truth. I got the Greatest Dope. I got a project that I'm working with Danny Cayazio, who's Ghostface producer. So that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? He even, we even, got some things going with Harbor Kids with him. So
yes, sir.
yeah. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot more that I can't even really get into. But yeah, I'm working. We working out here, man. We trying to add to the
James
culture.
Brown
Shout
out
out
here,
to
man.
shout out shout out to
Shout
Coach
out Coach
the
the
God,
God. Fact.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because he making these plays, man. He's setting up these deals for us, man. He set up the deal with Bars Over BS, you know what I'm saying, to get us the CD and the cassette deal. He's just out here making plays, man. So, and he does all of our, promo videos and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, shout out to him, man. Yep.
Very dope. Big shout out to Jerry Graham for
yes.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Most definitely. Another Staten Islander.
Shout out to Jerry.
Yeah. Shout out to
before
Jerry,
we get
man.
out of here, you guys shout out your social media.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Squeeze. You go first.
I'm on Twitter, Squeegie _Oblong. I don't know if y'all know how to spell that, but that's SQUEEGIE _O on Twitter. IG, I'm Squeegie Oblong, so it's just the same way, Squeegie with the underscore and then Oblong, OBLONG. Squeegee on all your music fucking things, Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. Shit, if you got an old Apple MP3 player and you want to go look on that shit, I might wind up on that motherfucker too. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, for me, Jamil Honesty, JAMIL _honesty on all, social media. Most of the time you'll catch me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter sometimes, and I'm on Facebook too. But most of the time, IG is where you'll find me at. So if y'all want beats, if y'all need verses, you know what I'm saying? If y'all need me to, y'all seen what I did with the Bolo Young. Come on now, like if y'all need me to frame these projects up for y'all, man. Just come with your Cash App and your Zelle and all that. We can get it. Yeah, we can get it popping with you. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I definitely gotta, speaking of producing, projects and stuff like that, definitely gonna get one in with my man Squeege. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So we'll be on the lookout for that.
Yeah. Right. That's gonna be crazy. He don't know, but it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. You don't know yet. That's gonna be crazy.
About to hit.
Dope. Yeah. So, but let me ask you a quick. So, if a fan wants to be able to always kind of tap in with you guys and know what's coming out, what out of all the spots, what's the best one to go to? That's like, you know what I mean? That
as far as for both of our shit.
For Harbor Kids, for example.
For Harbor Kids, I would say go to the Bandcamp, harborkids.bandcamp.com. To keep up with everything as far as Harbor Kids and everything's concerned, and as far as with our solo shit as well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, because we both got individual Bandcamp pages. You know what I'm saying? And we have websites. I got websites. I got the Black House Records .com. I am JamilHonesty.com website. But for the most part, most of my catalog is on Bandcamp. So yeah, I'm always updating that. I'm always updating my information on Instagram. So is Squeege. So yeah, just hit us up. Like we on Instagram, man. Anything that we got going on, interviews,
we'll be
shows,
between the two pages.
Word up. Yeah.
So everybody make sure you follow these two brothers, man. Very talented MCs, producer, as well. Harbor Kids out now. Go check that out. Very dope. I like what I heard so far, man. So it's really dope.
I appreciate you listening, bro.
On behalf of myself and the journalist Sincere and Changing of the Hip Hop Guards, we appreciate you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. We're definitely going to be tapped in to see what else is coming from you, as a collective and individually. And if anything, hit us up on Instagram. Let us know, man. We'll be more than glad to forward that and spread the word as well.
Oh, no doubt, man. We're gonna stay
Definitely.
tapped
Without a
in.
shadow
Do
of
the
a
same
doubt.
thing
Sure.
with
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're gonna
Sure,
stay
sure.
tapped in.
Yeah.
Thank you
For real.
guys so much, and we'll see you again in the near future.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Thanks a
Salute.
lot, man.
Hey.
Peace.